Good evening, everybody. It is March 13th, 7 p.m. This is the Borough of Allendale Mayor and Council combined work and regular sessions. Hello, everybody at home as well. Linda, will you please read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement and call the meeting to order?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice requirements have been satisfied. The meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting, are posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and on the borough website, published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year, and copies are sent to the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting by the March 3rd, 2025 Sunshine Notice was sent to the record, the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger, and has been posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and borough website.
Super. Roll call, please.
Councilman Yakarino.
Here.
Councilman O'Toole.
Here.
Councilwoman Homan. Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Here.
Councilman Delawisio. Councilman O'Connell.
Here.
Mayor Wilzinski.
Here. Everybody, please stand. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Okay. The republic for which it stands,
One nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Just going to do a quick agenda review. We have two presentations today. The Mayor and Council will be reviewing our 2025 goals. We actually have a town hall next week, so this is kind of like our little trial run, and we told residents that we would actually do it at this council meeting as well. And we also have our library, and our library director, Nancy, is going to be giving a presentation of all the great stuff that they're doing at the library. Our consent agenda is also very light. A couple of things to point out. We have a new building monitor, Caleb Glass, who just started. So we have some volunteers at the community center, and we also hired somebody for the nights that we couldn't get volunteers, just to make sure everything was safe. It's a brand new building. We didn't want to, make sure nothing bad happens to it. And so far, he's worked out great. We have authorized agreement to do more electronic scanning. We have our reimbursement for snow removal for the Whitney. This is a project. They actually remove the snow, and then we reimburse them every year. What else? We're going to be paving the grandstand parking lot. And the bill list. Did you review the bill list?
I did.
All righty. And okay. So I'd like to open up the meeting now on anything on the agenda. Open first before I do that. Does anybody have any comments on anything on the agenda before we move on? Not seeing anybody. Bring it back. We have approval of minutes, February 13th and February 27th combined in work and regular sessions. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell.
Yes.
All righty. So I think now we'll go right into the presentation. Woohoo! That'll work. Okay.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Can I just make a note that Councilman O'Connell will abstain on February 13th? He was absent.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
I will abstain on the 13th.
All right. So I'll pop down here. So we started this last year to do strategy and goals for the council. It's not something that everybody ever done in the past. So we just thought, like, all the committees, all the great work that we're doing, that would just be nice to kind of codify it and make it into a presentation for the community and bring it to the community and get some feedback on it. So a lot of the buckets are very similar to last year. So we are, using our same committees, and then we each have our goals underneath it. So I'm going to review, the committees. I'm going to review the team, and then each council people are going to talk about their committees. And we actually have a town hall next week. For some reason, people love to come to the town hall. They don't necessarily come for a council meeting. So I think I have more people in one town hall than across all the councils. So it's really nice to see everybody here tonight. So first, I'd like to just review the team. I think most people know everybody on the council. So we have Liz Holman, who's not here, who is in charge of utility and sewer. Ed O'Connell, who works in Parks and Rec and also is in charge of all the Boy Scout projects and Girl Scout projects out of town. Matt O'Toole is in charge of the public safety with our chief of police here. Suzanne Lovasolo, she has two committees. She's also on admin, finance, HR, but that is led by our CFO, Allison. And she is also the head of land use. And Tyler is in charge of facility and rec, and then Joe is in charge of the and that's all the heads, and then there's seconds on some of the So this is our staff of professionals. We have Allison Altano, so she is our CFO, and we hired her as a CFO, and then more recently, we actually promoted her as our borough administrator, and she's been here 2 years. Feels like she's been here a lot longer. So she does a fabulous job. She's been an amazing addition to our team. And then we have Linda, our clerk. So Linda runs all of our meetings, and she does a fabulous job. She's been here like 3 years.
3 years. It'll be 3 years in May.
Now, so we're all, sometimes new. So she's great in the admin office and trains everybody that, that comes in and oversees that office. We have Mike Dillon, who's our chief of police here. And he's pretty new too.
20 years today. Yeah, March 13th, 20 years. Yeah. Yeah, 20 years. Thank you. Thank you.
I think we're trying to get a calendar of anniversaries, and then
I got the borough hot on that.
So, and then Afraid Witch is our borough attorney. So you've been our borough attorney now for 10 years. And before that, he was our legal. So, our DPW, have Andy and Luciera, the take care of the work, and Kim, who's down in his office, and I do have to get a picture of him. And then our clerk and finance office, we have Gina, who's our tax collector. We have Carol. To get these pictures today, just so everybody knows, was really, really, really hard. Nobody liked their pictures. It's just like I was doing something like horrible. So some people sent me the pictures.
Yeah.
It's definitely a school. It's definitely a school picture.
So Gina's our tax collector, so she's the one, she gets a lot of heat, when taxes due, people come in, to pay their taxes and usually are not very happy when we do it. She's very sweet in that office. Carol does our payroll. Carol's been here for quite some time. Amanda and Dottie are in the office as admin assistants. Amanda's now taking on more of a role at the community center. Since the community center is brand new, we're evolving on how we are going to staff that, how we're going to have the usage. We're still collecting data, but she's in that role to see how that's going to evolve. And then Dottie is, I guess, our newest, right? So she's here helping out. Linda and Dottie's just, all around great, and everything she does always manages to have.
She's wonderful.
A smile and to residents. Another new addition is Julia Morgagliata. So she is our director of education. So she's great. I had her on the mural team, and she was fabulous. So snagged her, and she does all of our newsletters. Website. And she works tirelessly on a new website that isn't technically launched yet, but will be launched soon. So she worked really hard on that, and she does all tasks like that. So she's great. And we have our business department. So we have Anthony. Most people know Anthony, so he's our code official. I thought that was a good picture, right? Good picture. Angela's been here for forever. She's our tax assessor, and she's like the head of the whole tax association, the assessor. And we have Linda. So Linda is the land use board secretary, and she also works in land use to help residents when they come in for any building permits or signs or things like that. Mike Limitola is our property maintenance, so he's on us out on the road if there's any property maintenance, any type of some claims about, or he just goes on the road and does like checks to make sure everything's taxed. And then Mike Freeland is our borough engineer. We hired him probably about like years ago. So he works at the building department. So for our strategy, we are Allendale, transparent, accountable, and responsible government. The purpose of why we're all here, and this is what I always tell everybody, is to make, serve residents to make Allendale a better place to live for you all. So we're not here obviously for the paycheck. We're here to make Allendale a better place to live. I mean, we all are vested in this town. We all love this town. We're doing this work because we absolutely love the town. And the bottom line, simple, is better place to live. And then underneath that are our pillars of progress and kind of the buckets that encompass all of it. So we are fiscally conservative. We obviously want a safe place to live. And to me, this is like the bottom line of everything. If you're not safe and you don't have fiscal responsibility, you can't have anything else. So that's near the two main pillars. Character, we really want to keep our town the way, as much as we can. You want to progress a little bit, but you still want to try to preserve, the town. Environmental and infrastructure, you have to keep up your infrastructure. We have to, care about the environment, the trees and the lake and all that makes the borough so beautiful. And then recreation and social, that's like a major part of municipalities too. If you don't have fields, you don't have a social component, if you don't have rec, it's up there. It's very, very important in the town. So the committees that come from these are our admin, finance, HR, and we actually put IT in this. One of the major things we want to do is drive digital innovation. And that is something that I've been very, very big on. We switched to Teams and we're trying to get everything automated, also automating all of our records. So that eventually might become another committee, but right now we just kind of put it in there. And then once we go through this, each one of the councils, we're going to talk about their. So underneath that also is best place to work. We want to make sure that the employees are happy, and that's why we fix, the building up, and it's a good place to work because happy employees will make happy residents. And then of course, good. Safe place to live. We always want to support our police. We have an amazing police department. We have a new police department. We want to make sure that they have everything they need to keep Allendale safe. Of course, our AVAC, which is our volunteer ambulance, and our fire department. They're both volunteer organizations in the borough, which is very important because it'd be really expensive if we had to pay for, a paid fire department, and we want to make sure that we support them. We always are trying to help them recruit. We're helping them with training and everything like that. Character is really, your land use. We actually, before the council meeting, we're just looking at a couple codes. Things come up all the time. Like, for example, we noticed that some people were building 2 stories on accessory structures, and the side yard is only 6 feet from the neighbor. So a lot of people are building these towers, and then all of a sudden they're like looking, and it's, you're kind of losing that space and privacy. So this is just something new that's kind of come up. So we're going to change that to make it, give a little bit more space to the side yard. So just things like that really help. Help the character of the town. Fair share housing, I'm not even going to get into, but that's just a whole other, if anybody wants to, learn about it, feel free to talk to me, but I can talk about that for about 3 hours. But just in a word, it's a nightmare. Historic preservation, of course, that's always important. Our environmental and infrastructure is our DPW and utilities department, so that's our trees. If we look at flooding, we're doing like a big culvert study now because a lot of culverts, some people don't clean them out, and some the borough cleans out. So we're trying to identify all of them, and that's going to help with flooding with all the building that's going on in the area. We really have to be cognizant of that. We've had a lot of flooding issues in the past. Wildlife management is the deer, and that's just an ongoing thing that I'm constantly trying to update and trying to find the best solution for that. And then recreation and social is our facilities, parks, and rec committee that Tyler heads up, and that's all about community engagement. It's all about rec sports, volunteers. We have all volunteers that run that program as well. So it's one of our great programs in town. And then this is kind of like something we all came up with last year, innovative, thinking of better ways of doing things. We're informed. We're really trying to push information out there, be transparent. We have town halls. We have coffee with the mayor, and council on the top. We have a newsletter, a weekly newsletter. There's mayor's memos that go out. We're on social media. So, we're out there. Intentional, so we're really trying to make sure that we have policies that are going to benefit the entire community. We do have a lot of people that come in and they're like, well, they're speeding on my street, put in speed humps here, but like, well, that's be a problem for another street. So you got to watch that. You have to be intentional for everybody. You can't just have, self-interest. And everybody is, has their own self-interest. So that's one thing that we have to make sure it's very fair, that it's helping the whole entire city. Inclusive, all voices are heard. We always welcome people in touch. We're transparent. We're hands-on. We are a very hands-on borough. We're in touch with residents. We get feedback. We put surveys out there, see what people want to talk about. Again, in town halls. And integrity. We're doing it for the right reasons. So I'd like to give the council an opportunity to chit-chat a little bit about what's going on in their department. So the fiscally conservative, that is our budget. So we worked on the budget actually today, as a matter of fact. We're going to have less than 1% municipal increase. So we have been very, very, very conservative on the municipal side. If anybody knows the three components of where your tax dollar is, we're a small part of it. So there's the county, which is 10%, and then there's the school, obviously. And out of that 25%, we really can only control about half of that because a lot of it is statutory stuff, insurance, things like that. And it's tough because insurance went up again like 24%. Energy is going up. The electric bills are going up. So things, keep on going up. So we really tried very hard to start with material-based budgeting. And safe place to live. I will turn it over to Matt.
Certainly. So I am the head of Public Safety Committee. I'm the chair of that committee. And as the mayor said, most of what we do is to support our police department and our volunteer organizations. What we're planning on doing this year is continuing to support. We have a young police department. Everybody knows that we've had some real high turnover in the past few years. We have 2 new officers. Through retirement. Yep. We had an aged department and now we have a very young department. Chief Dillon is a spectacular leader. He is guiding these young officers to really be a big part of the community and to be exemplary officers. In our fire department, we have a new fire chief there. We've done a lot to try and bring in new members. It's not just a problem that Allendale has. All the volunteer organizations in the area are having trouble finding members. So we've done things like create a new stipend program, put in a new chief, and really are changing the culture of the department there to make it more attractive for people to come in. And the ambulance corps also, we are here to support them and to try and bring in more recruits for them. They're doing fairly well, but they always need more people. So we've just finished a lease with them on the building, which has been in the works for years. So that should make them happy, get them back into the building, and hopefully help them to bring in more people too.
And, in public safety just deals with things that come up all the time. Like, we see there's downtown, for example, there were some issues with parking, so then we got on that. And, so, we're just constantly looking for different things and ways to make the community safer. So land use.
That's me. So our land use committee meets once a month, and usually meet the Thursday morning of the second council meeting of the month. And we actually met because things got kind of messed up this month. We met last Friday morning, and that meeting, so who is the land use committee that we're a part of? Well, it includes the mayor, it includes my second on the committee, Councilman Tyler Yacarino. We have our DPW head, Andy Agugliero, is there. Anthony Hackett as our code official. Mike Freeland as our borough engineer, and then Allison Altano as our BA sits in on it too. So at the land use committees, we try not to get into like really individual property concerns. We try and take a look at kind of trends and issues that residential property owners may have. And one of the things that recently did come up, as the mayor mentioned, was accessory buildings. And our code was very outdated in regard to that, with the trend towards two-story accessory buildings that a lot of people are putting on their property. So how do we address that? And I think we've come up with a good solution to letting people have their individual property rights, but also not infringing upon the neighbor's right to not have two-story buildings, a couple feet from their property line. So we take a look at things like that. Other things come out of this committee. The Shade Tree Committee is going to be up and running again. And former Councilman Jim Strouch is spearheading that effort, which we're really happy about. So they'll be doing an inventory of trees in town. They're already getting to work on that. Also, with the warmer weather upon us, it's time for outdoor dining in town. So one of the things we do is we send out a letter to our restaurants in town, once again reminding them that before they put out their tables and chairs and their planters and their umbrellas and everything else, that they do have to submit a plan to the town. That gets reviewed by Anthony Hackett, who takes a look at it and makes sure that it's in compliance with our code. And then they get approval from him before they can put everything out there. Other things that we do, let's see, what else? We have a lot of crossover areas. So for land use, we will take like sidewalks and streets and what have you kind of under our purview, but that also touches on public safety. That's definitely also DPW. So there's a lot of crossover areas. We're going to start their paving program again in town. One of the other things that's coming up is sump pumps. And we have former Councilwoman Jackie McSwiggan here, front row, who did the Herculean effort years and years ago about addressing sump pumps in town from residences that drain directly into the municipal sewer system. And that's a no-no. So we are going to be taking a look at that again. So it's a great committee. We have a lot of fun. There's always baked goods. And and Tyler's going to tell you he's a fun committee, but we also have a lot of fun.
And then one of the other major things we're working on now, so fair share housing.
It's fair share.
Involved in that too.
That's
Also, we have
all
land use master plan.
Yes,
So that's
in the
something
master
that we're
plan.
actually working on now in conjunction. We're doing a hazard vulnerability study. We're doing a master plan, and now we're doing our fair share housing plan. So it's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. All right, so DPW, Andy's not here, and Jim's not here, and this is the DPW is basically our road. We recently, and it's new, so we're instilling a road program where we have all of the roads listed, the lineage of the road, and then like ABCs, like which ones are fixing. Paving is so expensive, so you can't just pave like 20 streets. So we really have to, based on the lineage of the street and how much it's going to cost, and that's how we determine if we try to spend about $200,000 or $250,000 a year on paving. Potholes, we actually had a pothole meeting today. It's just another thing, to buy the equipment to do it, the hot asphalt, it's like $60,000. So we sometimes outsource that, and then sometimes we have this stuff where we kind of patch it. So, as I was saying, the culvert program is also part of that. Flooding is becoming huge everywhere, definitely here as well. So we're trying to do whatever that we can to clean out storm drains, to make sure the culverts are cleaned out. Utility also falls under this, so that's what Councilwoman Solo was talking about, the sub pump program. We sold our water system, so water used to be under here. That's why we switched the committees a little bit. So we really don't have a lot to do with the water anymore. We're pretty much have that wrapped up. But the sewer is another one. So that is our second highest item on our budget. So it's just a little high for our small town. So we are actually doing a study next week where we're hammering this one area that we think there's a problem with some I&I inflow and infiltration, and then the sump pump program that we're going to take in, because when we met with Northwest, Bergen Sewer, they said that is like the biggest culprit in all towns. So we haven't done it in a good 10 years, so we're gonna just really get the message out there, make sure that we can go in and monitor, make sure that people's, sump pumps aren't hooked up to their sewer lines. We're paying a fortune for that. And then we're talking about
Fun.
committee.
The other fun committee.
There's two, well, they're all fun.
All right, so
Facilities, Parks and Recreation, as Amy mentioned, is a three-pronged committee. Obviously, being in Borough Hall, I'm sure some of you have noticed the great improvements that we've made, namely Allison really driving those. We've done improvements by painting, flooring, lighting, some nice quality of life items for our staff, our volunteers, and then also visitors to Borough Hall to make things more efficient and really look very pleasant. Of course, we have the new community center, which of course Amy drove that project for many years, our newest borough facility, which is here for the whole community. We're so happy to see a great many of folks in town use those facilities. So we're continuing to make improvements and making sure that, we're keeping things on the up and up, so to speak, and to make it nice for those groups that I said before. Parks, right now, of course, we have all of our ball fields. We have Crestwood Lake, which is our big one. Currently, if you drive by Brookside right out front, you see that Field 3, the Brookside Field, is currently in the process of receiving a full end-to-end renovation in our partnership with the Allendale Recreation Commission. So we're really excited for the improvements there. Our DPW has been working with the vendor who is doing Field 3 so that we can improve all of our fields. Over the past few years, there's been some challenges with the fields in terms of the environment, the weather, and so forth. So we're in the process of instituting, like we've done with the roads, our field maintenance program. We're working with our recreation scheduler, taking certain fields out of commission for half of the season. The DPW goes out, improves the fields, and then we reopen them for the following season. So we're going to be instituting that to improve our ball fields. Crestwood Lake, right now our big project is the concession stand, which has been a long time coming. We're really excited to be opening that up for Crestwood members this summer. Amy's been part of that project. Allison's been a big part of that project, as well as our engineer, architect, and builder. So that's going to be a really great amenity for our members there. Our next big project, long-term project for Crestwood Lake, probably planning in 2026, is going to be our tennis courts up at the Red Barn. Of course, we know pickleball has been a big project. Pickleball's been an up-and-coming sport, rather. So we're really going to look to work with the Recreation Commission to optimize that area, making sure that we're offering pickleball, basketball, tennis, and the high school lacrosse program. Also, maybe incorporating a lacrosse wall if we could make that happen as well. So there's a lot of things, a lot of pots on the stove at the moment, but we're working through it and thankful for the support of everybody and making these projects happen. So thank you.
So that's kind of like, what we do in all our committees. We, of course, have our professionals, like our borough attorney, Ray West, that keeps us in the straight and narrow. He is in constant contact with all of us. I always feel like I tell him very comfortable with his advice. So he makes sure that we don't do anything that's illegal. But everything is really on the up and up. Integrity, like I said, is one of our high, values. And if anybody have any questions?
And thank you to Amy for all of her hard work.
Thank you to our mayor steering our ship.
You have the USB in the computer, so I can plug it in here.
Thank
And then
you.
get that from
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so the right electric pointer. Or backwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to look. Yes. What?
Wait, it's still there.
Everybody else is fine.
I'm Sally. Record last night,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
If you had any questions, but I'll open it up, I'll open it up for the public after,
know.
after this presentation, yeah.
Don't you know how this goes?
Those two missed foul shots by what's his name, like, and they went to overtime. Or six overtime.
Disconnect. Disconnect. Without-
We have the standard signs.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how to disconnect unless I just shut it off.
Have to try.
Hey. Yeah.
I just had to shut down.
We're getting somewhere.
You can turn this way. You can turn it.
Want to just test the clicker?
Okay, is that better? Okay. All right, well, thank you, first of all, everybody, for coming and for inviting me to Mayor and Council. I very much appreciate you giving me an opportunity to provide this overview to you guys for basically bring you up to date on our operations for 2024, the changes that we've made over the last year and a half, and to preview our plans for 2025. So you have the handout and it's up there, but before I get into some of the details about what happened in 2024, I really wanted to address a question that comes up every now and then, and that is, why do people still need libraries? I think you hear this every now and then from people, and I think it's a common misconception that libraries are becoming obsolete due to the rise of digital materials and content and all the access to online information. Personally, I work in a library, so I rarely hear it because people that are in libraries generally understand what libraries do and the value of the library. However, usually when I hear that kind of a thing, it's somebody who really hasn't been in a library in a lot of years, so they don't really necessarily know how we've changed and how we are addressing the needs of the community. So, but the numbers that I'm going to share with you now are surprising. I think it may be surprising to some of you. Even to me, it was a little surprising, the magnitude of some of these numbers, because Allendale is not a large town. Excuse me, yet many of these numbers were quite large to me. So a couple of things I wanted to call out. In 2024, we had almost 68,000 person visits to the library. And that was a considerable increase over the year before and the year before that. So more and more people are coming to the library and using the library. We have incredibly strong community engagement with over 2,200 active newsletter subscribers. And our weekly newsletters, we have one for adults, kids, and teens. And often it's opened, it's one of the first things that people open on Monday morning. And we know that because when we advertise things and people have to sign up through the newsletter, they usually go out. The kids one goes out at 5:30, the adults like at 6:30, and by 6:35 we have 15 people signed up. So that's how we know that it is something that people look for, and they're highly engaged. We have a very robust ESL program where we provide training for volunteer tutors, and then we match them with people who are in need of tutoring. And this number actually shocked me: 780 hours of tutoring last year. And that's a huge number, and it's an important need in the community that we're meeting. Also, even without setting foot in the library, people are using our resources. Any resident who creates a library account can have an access to a wide variety of digital resources, including ebooks, audiobooks, e-magazines. The digital New York Times and Wall Street Journal are super popular and growing. And other, online streaming videos, music, etc. The digital resources in total are a huge growth area for us, increased over 105% in 2024 versus 2023. And the first couple of months of 2025 are showing similar increases. People are also seeking experiences through the library. In 2024, nearly 900 residents visited museums by using the Museum Pass program, which is generously funded by the Friends of the Library. And that was a 57% increase over 2023. Our Library of Things, which we have dubbed Borrowing Beyond Books, had a 83% increase, and people can borrow, and I think, Matt, you borrowed a couple of things from our
I have.
books. So, but we have things like paper shredders, projectors, and movie screens to host like a summer movie night, hotspots so that you can have access to Wi-Fi, when you're on the go, traveling all over the world. And speaking of experiences, we also offer a diverse range of programs for all ages. So in 2024, we had a total of 274 programs for adults, 210 for kids, 18 for teens. So there's over 500 programs, and this number always shocks me. The attendance was at over almost 9,000 people attended programs in 2024 through the library. I think most people are familiar with the summer reading programs. That's a fairly, common program in libraries. But our program last year was our biggest to date, and that's also another program that the Friends of the Library helped support. We had, it was our most successful children's program in recent history, and we had more kids sign up in the first 3 days than all of last year. Okay. So the people look for it, they know, they come in, they sign up. We've done a lot of special programming, some new things in 2024 and some things that we've enhanced in 2024, and we're going to continue into 2025. We collaborated with the Hocus Library to create a new neighborhood book club. And this club meets outside the library, and we are trying to create a little bit more of a relaxed environment. And the books that we choose, we're trying to provide book titles that aren't your typical book club fairs. So just having people stretch and read things that they wouldn't normally read. And it's been very successful. We're actually approaching our 1-year anniversary of that. And we have, which you'll see a picture later, Bentley, our therapy dog, who comes every week. And he has actually helped many, many children not only overcome their fear of dogs, because many of them are afraid of dogs, but also their reluctance to read, because they read to him, and he's kind of an easy audience. And he's a boy. And then this is one that I'm particularly proud of, our Dementia Caregivers Group. We started that about 2 years ago in partnership with Alzheimer's of New Jersey. And sadly, it's an important need, and it's a growing need. And in fact, we have one group meets once a month, and recently we have basically, the group has maxed out in size. They can only have 10, maybe 12 people at a time. So now we have a waiting list for that group. So I've been working with the Alzheimer's of New Jersey to create a second group. And one of the other groups, actually, they might want to meet twice a month, and then we may add another once a month group. So it's a very important resource for people in the area. We have Tech Time, which I know, Jim, you've taken advantage of a couple of times, as well as many other people in the community. We have the National Honor Society students come in on Tuesday. If you're interested and you need some help, you drop in, with the cell phone, computers, just little things, but it's definitely a need in the community. And we also, going forward in 2025, we are starting, we're going to be working with Mike at the Police Department and Stu Leonard's for a water safety program. It's going to be held in May with Stewie the Duck from a little mascot of the Stu Leonard's organization. Okay. So now, I only have a couple of slides really, but it was just some things that I thought would be easier to see a picture than for me to try to explain. So in 2024, some of the physical changes that happened. And of course, we invite all of you, if you don't already, to come in and take a look, and keep coming, because we're making a lot more changes. But some of the things that we've done, this is our Borrowing Beyond Books collection that I mentioned. So we created a new space for this. And these are objects that are large and, in some cases bulky. You can't really have them displayed. So we came up with this idea of having the picture and a little card, and then you basically can see everything that we have in a small area. If you're interested, you just have to go to the desk and then you can check it out. We also have enhanced our local history section with some pictures and material and other materials, and we're hoping to expand that in the future as well. And then in January, we launched our community showcase. This has been extremely popular so far. This was our first display, which is one of our local volunteers, and she's also a watercolor artist, so she did her first display. But we've got this every month. We rotate displays, and we have it booked through the entirety of 2025. So every month, come in, take a look, see who the latest local person is displaying collections or things that they've done, things that are important to them. They're going to be on display. They're also noticed. They're also in the newsletter. You'll see a notification of what's coming up. And then we also redesigned the signs for the library stacks in the main room. So we've created kind of a consistent look and feel with the graphics and the color. And it's really made a tremendous difference in terms of just findability. And now we have, it seems like a simple thing, but now we have aisle numbers. So you can say, instead of like, oh, the fourth aisle from the left and, you know, halfway down, now we have, you know, simple, but it's. And then just some basic to some practical things throughout the first floor. We've recarpeted, or the entire building actually. We've recarpeted the loft and painted the wall in 2024. And in 2024, the borough provided funds for us to upgrade our electrical system and do some other electrical work in the building. So these types of lights we also have on the whole first floor, and we upgraded to LEDs in the main areas. So it's very bright, and we used to have a chronic problem with the lights in the stacks going out because they were fluorescent bulbs. And now these lights they're bright, they're on all the time, they look great. Another benefit of the money that was provided by the borough for the electrical upgrades was we were able to move Ethernet lines, so we were able to reposition our computers, which used to be right in the middle of the library, so you could never, you always, anything you did, you had to kind of work around this fixed object. So we were able to move them to the sides, which has created a lot of extra space and a lot of flexibility for programs and things. And then in the kids' room, we've done some changes. Last year, the summer reading program theme was venture, finding adventure. So our children's librarian created an enchanted forest theme. I think all the borough will walk through and see the lights and everything that she did in there. So it came out so great. We didn't want to take it down after summer reading. So now we've just, every season, we had like snowflakes and winter things in the winter, flowers and, you know, woodland animals in the summer. So it's just been very appealing and just a nice way to keep it fresh. In terms of 2024 community events, we had our second annual newcomers reception. This was something we started a couple of years ago. Just anybody new who's come to town, we invite them to come. It's an evening in May. They can come to the library. They can meet other new people in town, learn about the resources that we can provide, and just get to know other people. And then last year we had our first annual Family Day, which we did over at the Red Barn and then Crestwood Lake. We had a lot of activities, and we had over 400 people attend that, and we got great feedback, and we're planning another one for September 13th now. So that was 2024. 2025, a lot more coming. One of the big things that we're doing is we're extending our service hours. So instead of, we currently open 54 hours a week, we're going to be moving that to 62. We're going to be opening Wednesday nights, and this is the big one. We're going to be opening on Sundays.
Wow.
That, it was a couple of years ago, there was a survey done, and that was one of the things that came out, and, you know, where you are going to make it happen going forward. So it's going to be 12 to 4 on Sundays between, basically just for like the school year. We won't have those hours in the summer, but for the rest of the year, we'll have those hours. And then Wednesday night is great because we'll have additional people are asking for more programming, and that gives us another night that we can provide programming to the public. And I think earlier we alluded to just some kind of news about fines. We were talking earlier about, you know, fines on books, and basically effective April 2nd, we are going to be going fine free, which is something that's going on in many libraries in the country. But specifically, the libraries immediately surrounding Allendale is basically a trend. And we just feel strongly it's been very successful in other libraries. Other libraries have been doing it for 2-3 years, and they found that it brings, makes it much more welcoming for people. It removes barriers for people to come in and to borrow things. And it's the right thing to do, and it's the the trends in the industry. We're also looking at physical changes to the first floor, much like you mentioned about upgrading a lot of things in the Borough Hall. We're looking at physical changes in 2025. We're calling it the year of the refresh. So with the electrical work behind us, now we're ready to start to move on with some other cosmetic changes. One is going to be hopefully very, very soon. We'll be painting the whole first floor and also laying new carpet throughout the first floor, except for the kids' room, which is basically the kids' room. Carpet was not is not that old and it's still in good shape. We're going to be adding new furniture and desks for the computers in the main room. And then recently, really recently, like this week, the borough created a recycling center outside. It used to be in the little hallway as you go up to the quilt room. So that's in the process of being moved outside. And that's going to enable us not only to refurbish that area, paint and do some upgrades to flooring, but also we are hoping to be able to put in a locked caged area where we can add some additional items to our Barn Game Books collection, which are the things that are bulky or like things that we haven't been able to have a place to store before. So specifically things like power washers and maybe some outdoor games and things like that. And we'll be able to store them in the building, accessible for the staff to get for patrons, but it's, now we would have some space to enable those to be stored in the building. And next week, we're going to be upgrading the Wi-Fi in our side of the building for the library. So that's going to be a nice upgrade for people who use the Wi-Fi in the building. And also a lot of people use the Wi-Fi in the parking lot when we're closed. You'll see people that are, just using it out there, which is great. We're going to be replacing the computers in the YA room, and we're also going to be renovating the processing room to create a better, more efficient and workspace and a more pleasant environment for the staff. We have a small area back there, and the space could be better used, so we're looking to redesign that and have just a better working environment. And then just some of the new and expanded services that we've planning for 2025. We're adding a Mango language learning service. It's an online learning platform. It's over 70 languages, and they're practical lessons, and you can have an app on your phone, and it's just extremely user-friendly, and it's focused on really learning practical phrases. So if you're going to travel somewhere, it's like, how do I rent a car? What words do I need to, buy something or to, go out to dinner or to order food? So it's a very practical approach. And it also has an ESL component, which is great because we have our very active ESL program. So we're going to be able to have those people have access to that as well. I don't know if you're familiar with Hoopla and Libby. Those are some digital services. Hoopla is basically streaming content, so like ebooks, videos, music, and audiobooks. And Libby is audiobooks, ebooks, and magazines. We're expanding those. We're investing more heavily in all of our digital content, including the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. And then we're just always trying to keep it fresh with new programming ideas. Next week, we're starting a crochet workshop for kids in grades 4 through 8. There's still time to sign up. And our children's librarian has started an artist series where every month she chooses a different artist. She has the kids come in and she'll teach them about the artists themselves, the style that they work in, and then the children create a painting or an object in the style that they just learned about this artist. And that's been a very popular program. We also recently received an arts grant for multicultural musical programming that we're going to be, first one is going to be in April or May. So we're going to have like 2 in the spring and 2 in the fall. Those are going to be at the community center. And another very, very special event that's coming up at the end of the year in December. It will be the Memorial Libraries or the Allendale Library. It wasn't called the Memorial Library at that point, but it'll be our 125th anniversary. So the trustees and friends are working together to come up with some plans to do some nice celebrations. So. So just to kind of wrap it up a little bit, we do still have a big challenge, and that is space, in the building, especially for programming and also for basically accommodating adults and kids after school. I think if anybody's been in the library or walked to the library between 3:15 and 4:30, it's wall to wall people. And it makes it difficult because it's, you know, the kids are great. We love having them there. We welcome them, and we're doing a lot of programming to help make the time that they're there, not just that they're sitting there, but to try to make it more interesting and so they can learn things. But it's difficult for adults who might want to be in the library at that time of day because it's very busy, it's very loud. So that is one of our biggest challenges. We think this is just going to continue to grow with more working couples, and then also the fact that you know, during COVID, a lot of people were able to work from home, but now more and more companies are requiring their people to come in at least, you know, 2-3 days a week. So that's going to be, you know, creating more need in the library for kids after school. So we have created some activities, some clubs and things. We finally figured out a way to attract kind of the teen audience because they're not big on signing up for stuff and showing up for stuff. You know, you can have all these great programs and nobody comes. So we started these clubs and more like drop-in type programs. So we have something called the Swifty Club. Taylor Swift, did I say more? A zine club and anime, Lego building material type club. So that's really been very successful. And if the kids are going to be in the library and we want them to have a good time and to, you know, everything to be a positive experience. So having these activities for them, these little clubs that they can get involved with has really been very successful. And so our goal, you know, longer term is to be able to offer quiet spaces in a larger programming room. We're working with the Friends to actively fundraise, and we're hoping that we can expand our footprint, you know, with the support of the borough. And just in general, I mean, I think hopefully throughout this presentation, you've been able to see that what we do is try to change and adapt and make sure that we're meeting the needs of the people. That's what we're here for, to serve the community. So we're trying to always change things and adapt and make sure that everything we're doing is centered on the people of the town. So I wanted to share this next. Just in closing, we can certainly have questions if you have questions, but this is a little video about the library and why. It's great.
Mhm.
I just want to thank you for coming tonight and presenting. You know, I know Patty did a few years ago, and we took away so much from when she came before us. And so it's so great that you were here to once again let all of us know how important the library is to Allendale and everything that you guys do for us. So we thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was wonderful. I mean, each time that you come, there's always something new that we, you know, learn. So thanks so much for that great presentation.
I only wish the library had been open on Sundays when I was in high school.
He needed it.
Day projects. Last minute. So,
I was going to say the same. I think you guys opening on Sunday is going to be huge for the community. Library's great. You mentioned we're doing the Wi-Fi upgrades next week, and my mom loves the little bookstore. She comes by once a week, so she loves it. So
That's great. Well, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Oh, and just if anybody, also our museum pass program, again, if you sure it's more than the library than from our, that is.
And thank you to the other board members who are here tonight as well. Thank you for all you guys do.
All right. So to continue, we have the consent agenda. Actually, there was one thing on here that I did forget to talk about, which was the resolution approving the consent order. This is something very important. This is also something that just, shows that we are always thinking and trying to, innovate. This is a property that was on our low income roster, if you will. And it became just completely destroyed by the people, who lived there. So we've worked something out with the bank. So we actually have AHI now is going to Allendale Housing Inc. That is the organization that oversees their special needs housing, is going to take over the property, and we're hoping to regenerate that into our fair share housing numbers. So with that, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell.
Yes,
All righty. Council reports. Councilman Yakarino. I know we've talked a
Yeah.
lot, so we probably don't have much more.
No, I think I gave a pretty good
Yeah.
overview. We had 2 or 3 meetings this week, touching on a wide range of topics: concession stand, Red Barn, events for the year. So we're getting ready for the spring and summer. I'll keep it brief, but things are in motion.
Super. Councilman O'Toole.
Certainly, Nancy stole my thunder with Stewie the Duck, so I'm
Mhm.
gonna curtail my
Who's going to be
Oh,
Stewie? It's a
aw.
big question.
our committee met on Tuesday. We had a change of venue. Chief Dillon thought it'd be nice to do it at the new community center, so it was a nice change of pace. Provided us with an update on our 2 new hires. We're looking to have swearings in at hopefully one of our April meetings. Lieutenant Griffith updated us on some signage around town, which has been down and is now going back up. Some parking, including our new 5-minute parking spot in front of Terry O'Connor for people who are picking up food or for food delivery services. Hopefully this cuts down on people stopping in the middle of the road or double parking or using the handicap spot to just run into stores. Also, speaking of parking, a quick reminder that overnight parking is prohibited in the borough. A great job by the fire department and our mutual aid partners extinguishing a house fire on Hillside Ave last week. Chief Anderson reported at the meeting that about 50% of the time we're getting both trucks out, which is great, but they can always use more people. So anyone interested in becoming a member of the fire department, stop by the firehouse during their monthly meeting, which is the chief's second Friday of every month.
They're there every Thursday evening, starting at 7:30, and then every second Friday.
Got it. Except for tomorrow, which is the installation dinner. So congratulations to all the officers who are going to be installed tomorrow night. Chief Bataro reports that they're doing well, but they can also use help. So if you want to volunteer, but the fire department might not be your thing, the ambulance corps world. They're a great group of people. They have a lot of great events every year, including their upcoming beefsteak and scavenger hunt at Guardian Angel on the 29th. Find information about those tickets on Facebook or AllendaleAmbulance.org. And finally, the Gary Latizzi Memorial Blood Drive will once again be held at the firehouse 2 weeks from today, Thursday, March 27th. Mark your calendar, Walter. Reservations can be made online, or walk-ins are always happily accepted. Please come out and donate. This drive is growing and growing, and it's helping to put a lot of much-needed blood back into the system. So every drop counts, so please come out and roll up your sleeves for us.
And you get a pint. A pint for a
Pint for a
pint.
pint.
Pint for a pint, that's
Get
right.
free beer.
ABG is on board, so if you donate 1 pint only. We can't drink
Yeah.
it. Just making sure you're still awake. You gotta get through the whole thing to get there. You gotta eat your dinner before dessert. So for the Lorna dudes. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
Thanks.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I kind of touched on a lot of the stuff. So we had our land use meeting last Friday. Yesterday morning, we had our fair share housing kind of huddle, which is, Allendale's really been ahead of the curve on this a lot, and it just seems like every year they just reshuffle the deck and add to our numbers and what have you. So I'm very happy with the team we have in place and everything that we're doing to provide affordable housing as best we can with some really astronomical numbers handed to us. This morning we had our finance meeting, And that was great. We were able to take a look at our budget for the upcoming year. We reviewed our expenses and revenue from last year and made some projections and some estimates going forward. And as always, Allison's just done an amazing job with spearheading all of that. She's incredible. I want to add to Matt and backing up the blood drive. I think I've gone since you and your friends started it in town, and he's fantastic and it's wonderful, and our residents really do come out. And I think he's always very impressed with how many residents we have come from our small little town. And he's doing an incredible job. And he was recently honored for all of his work that he does.
Yeah, he's constantly getting.
And then the green team is going to be having our spring cleaning environmental day, May 3rd, Saturday, May 3rd. Might be Borough Hall, might be
Looking at Crestwood.
Crestwood.
Mark had submitted a sketch. I'm going to send that link to you just to make sure you don't have any concerns.
Sure.
And if you give us the approval, we'll have it.
So once again, we have green team members here, and it'll be a day of being able to drop off styrofoam and your electronic recycling, and what else is there? There's everything, clothing, yeah.
I think the X-ray film. So you mentioned that.
Oh, and then there's the
Needle.
drug,
Yeah.
the needles, yeah. And they'll be shredding, yeah. The shredding is really, I underestimated how popular that really is, but it's great. So it's a great day. It's a good service that the borough and the green team provides for our residents. And that's about it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman O'Connell?
Thank you, Mayor. I continue to work with our scouts to try to get them to completion with their Eagle project. I had a couple of visits with Cyan about her receptacles for the lake, so we made a couple of changes there, so she's going to improve upon that. And we're working with Jacob for a wall behind the fire pit to be built to hang some plaques on. And Joshua is going to have a demonstration for fire safety, a 2-day demonstration. So we continue working on that, and once I get the dates for that demonstration, I'll announce it at a council meeting.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Mayor.
Our staff, Linda Servino, our
Thank you,
clerk.
Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I want to welcome Dottie. She's from the clerk's office. She's been a wonderful asset to the clerk's office, as well as Amanda Richards. I'm very lucky to have both of them in the clerk's office. They're just wonderful with the residents on the phone, in person, email exchanges. So I'm very lucky. Compost permits, as of yesterday, you can apply for a compost permit. The recycling center will be open on Saturdays, Wednesdays and Saturdays, starting this Saturday. No, I'm sorry, April 5th. And then this morning I spoke with the New Jersey Film Commission representative. We were just talking over whether or not Allendale wants to be film certified or not. There's some steps that we have to do. After speaking with the clerk's office, we just don't know if it's very beneficial to be film certified, but there's going to be more discussion on that. And I'm sorry. It basically means, so the film commission has, it would mean like we would take our locations, pick some locations out in Allendale, and we would upload the pictures and a brief description, and then scouters would go to that website and look for the locations that they're kind of looking for the movies, like Netflix movies, things like that. However, just like the looking over the ordinance, I just don't think it's beneficial for Allendale.
Yeah, so the Film Ready program is something the state's offering up through the New Jersey, was it Motion Picture Group, whatever. And so Linda was great. She went and actually attended the program and saw what they had to offer. And we kind of thought, oh, that'd be great. How great to have, a revenue stream kind of come in and, have Allendale that kind of benefit from that. But, we already have our fee schedule for when motion picture associations and television shows want to come in. Some people remember when, who was it?
Ed.
when Ed was filmed downtown. That's right. And they're already kind of finding us. I mean, there's already interest in it. So we're not quite sure if Film Ready really benefits us other than the advertising that they might provide to via their website, right?
The film industry is the biggest growing industry in New Jersey, so we were just trying to seize an opportunity because, as you know, Councilwoman Lovasola said, we have been getting some people coming in, so we're like, why not see if we could actually get some money for this and make it easier for people to find us. But of course, you know, the police have to be involved because sometimes some of these productions they're disruptive to a town, so everything has to be weighed. So we're just
taking
exploring it because it's a new opportunity that might be out there.
There's about 21 towns participating in New Jersey. So
that have already been
just
designated or just
but
taking a look.
no, they are. And then there's like 43 that are kind of like in review, like just starting the process. So I don't think that's a lot. 21 in New Jersey right now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anything else?
Yep. Perfect. Sorry. Dottie just reminded me. So Dottie has been looking into having an event at the community center.
Oh, good, yeah.
It's the satellite office and passport outreach services. So, oh goodness, sorry.
Yeah, they will offer senior IDs, passport services, and swearing in of notary public.
Yep.
Super.
And
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Keith, Mike Dillon.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. It's a busy time at the police department. We're working to onboard 2 new officers, renew our accreditation status, new training and equipment, as well as establishing a program that puts a mental health professional in our police station a few times a week to assist with community outreach. We are also looking at options for dispatch as we are in need of high-cost upgrades. Now is the time we should look to leverage regional technology while staying fiscally responsible for the borough and providing the level of service the residents expect.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Borough Attorney Ray West.
Thank you, Mayor. A lot of what we've been involved in the last 2 weeks are matters that have been referenced on the reports from the council this evening. But I think one of the biggest time consumers that the mayor and I have been in constant contact is the affordable housing and related litigations that we have with our neighbors in Saddle River. Obviously, the Allendale sewer system is a very valuable commodity that serves the residents. Our neighbors do not have that type of infrastructure, and both towns, as part of the overall picture on affordable housing, are grappling with the obligations that have been referred to. And obviously, we want to prioritize Allendale residents and Allendale developments over those in adjacent municipalities. So there is a large interplay between our affordable housing litigation and the matters involving our sewer infrastructure. So needless to say, there's a couple of court proceedings pending, most recently this morning, back in court on Tuesday afternoon, and they'll develop over time. Clerk's office, TJ certainly been working on open requests, some of them related to what I just talked about, and also the cell towers, which have been a fiscal source of benefit to the borough. But we have a couple of naysayers on the tower that we have to take some action, either get them off and have them rebid, one in particular. And working with the committee, we have ongoing PBA negotiations on a new contract. So that's pretty topical. And I guess this morning we had the ongoing telephone conference with Veolia. As was mentioned, the water utility has been sold, but there's a lot of follow-up to that in terms of easements and conveyances, and that has been an ongoing thing. We meet with Veolia once every other week. That's it, Mayor.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mayor, I do have one more. I'm sorry, I forgot. I just wanted to remind everyone that the primary election for 2025 has been moved to June 10th. And the last day to register to vote for the primary is May 20th, and we will be open. The clerk's office will be open until 9 p.m. for that.
Get that in the newsletter. Yeah. Okay, so my report, we've talked a lot today. So this evening, the community center is always, top of mind. I just wanted to thank all the residents for their patience as we rolled this out. I mean, it was something that we've never endeavored before, and it really is working out great. It's like you build it, they will come. So it is being used all the time. As Dottie was saying, we are trying to bring in some programs for residents. I mean, we're really there to manage the space. We're not going to be like rec directors, but we are trying to bring some educational services for residents, like the Passport One, for example, that the county offers. So we're really excited about it. I have a lot of news memos coming out. So there's a big memo on fair share housing that we'll be sending out to everybody so people kind of get an idea of, what we're going through. That is really taking up so much, time and effort of the borough. But I feel like we have a solid team and we're doing everything that we can. We just, learned today some towns are just kind of like not doing anything and then they're stuck. So we have been very proactive. We had this team like months before we even got our numbers. And there's also going to be a mayor's memo coming out on our new website. We're not ready to launch it yet because there's still some quirks. So that is going to be super user friendly for the community. I'm really excited about it. We've been playing around with it. And it's like one of those intuitive, so you can find information very, very quickly. And then there will be another mayor's memo on the community center just because, we just have to keep on telling people, what's going on in there. Just one thing that Ray brought up, and this is in my mayor's report, is about the cell towers. And this is just another thing that we're really proud of in the borough because we could have easily, our cell towers are basically, they have a lease. And on the actual cell tower, you rent out space to AT&T and all these other things. We had a third company that was actually managing it. It was a contract for over 30 years. So when that 30 years is up, a lot of times you just take it and you just roll it back over. And that's when I became a new mayor and I wasn't sure and I kind of wanted to learn about it because I didn't even, it's just kind of a different world. And then Allison, our, CFO did, and with the help of Ray and TJ, we were like, you know what? We're not going to roll it over again. We're going to take this over. So we actually are getting significant revenue that would have otherwise gone to a third party. So just really, really excited about just because there's not a lot of revenue opportunities in a municipality. So we are really excited about that. So
Yeah, that was great. That was like the perfect storm. That was the contract ending, you coming on board, Allison coming on board, and all of you kind of like
just being curious,
taking a look at that. Yeah, it was awesome.
So, and that's it for me. So do we have any unfinished business or new business? Anybody? Alrighty, I'd like to open up the meeting to the public for anything that they'd like to chat about. Anything anybody want to talk about? Jim, come on up. This is one of our songs. Which is good.
I was here to support our wonderful
State your
library.
name and address, please.
Jim Wright and Franklin Turnpike. And one of the reasons I'm here is I want to change the name of the Franklin Turnpike. I want to change it for being in honor of William Franklin, the last royalist governor and trader, change the name to honor Benjamin Franklin. So we just need a resolution saying as Franklin Turnpike in Allendale will henceforth be named after Ben Franklin, not the trader's son. I don't know how you do that, but it'd be great.
I love this.
We have the 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War coming up, and William Franklin was a real nasty
turncoat
trader.
Oh, all right. It'll be our little secret.
Ben Franklin's son.
And I'm going to try and get other towns involved, but I thought I'd like you guys to have the first crack at it.
Sure. Did you send us an email on it?
Okay.
Yeah.
And on another note, we've had nesting red-shouldered hawks in town for over 20 years. I think it's 25 now. They're an endangered species where nesting, and they nest all over town. We hear them calling. And Hoboken just made the common tern their official city bird. And I thought it'd be great if Allendale made red-shouldered hawks the official
make that happen.
borough raptor.
All right.
So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, and we have Allendale birds.
I like both.
Good job. All right. Anybody else from the public wish to speak? Walter, come on up.
Walter Woodman, 38 Hamilton. I've been exposed to 3 mayors in this town. through them in depth. I want to compliment you on being outstanding.
Thank you, Walter.
We think so.
You've introduced so many things to us that did not exist before. And I mean, your staff is fantastic. too.
Really are, yes. Could not do it without the staff and this team. And when you love a town and you love what you do, it makes it easy, right?
So true. I've
Thanks,
got to
Walter.
bring pencil and paper. I'll go through this fast. Rumors going around about breaking sound, people breaking into the house.
Oh, yes.
Is that true?
So that has always been an issue, right? Not just for Allendale, for every jurisdiction, right? Basically, people from outside the borough come into the town to break into houses, right? We've recently arrested 6 they're basically South American burglars or burglars that originate from South America. And with the help of the federal government, we were able to apprehend 6 of them while they were in town. But we stopped them because we responded with a very robust police response, and they never had time to actually burglarize a house in Allendale. Thank you.
Awesome work from our city department.
This could be house, I think.
Agreed.
The mural,
Mhm.
what's happening
It's going to be going up around May.
around May?
Yes. After, when the weather starts getting better. Yep, I have some pictures. I can show you some updated pictures.
I'd like that very much.
Yep, I'll show you after the meeting.
I know there are 3 or 4 other things.
Courts, tennis courts.
No,
One more, there is one more. The speaker system for the birds.
I know. We got to put that in the capital. We'll have to get a new one. It's on the list, yeah.
I know.
I know the buzzing sound.
Overrides everything.
Yeah, we apologize.
for
Everything's
you.
so expensive, Walter, so we got to put it in our budget. So I think we have it in the budget is it this year or next year? Next year.
I didn't. It's close, real close.
We got to talk loud.
Staff is fantastic.
Yes.
They
They
are.
really are.
Thank you, Walter.
I've given them enough trouble. And they have helped me numerous times. I salute you guys.
It's a good team, for
Thank
sure.
you.
Thanks, Walter.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak? All right, with that, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.